Torah Or, Megillah Esther, page Tzaddik in Torah Or, first column. The pasuk says, the Gemara says a person is obligated to get intoxicated in Purim, that to the extent he doesn't know the difference between the Haman is cursed and Mordechai is blessed. It says, Ksiv Kiyad al Kes Yudke. By Amalek and Pashas B'Shalach, the Torah says, Kiyad al Kes Yudke. V'amir Azal, She'ein Hashem Sholem. Vein HaKisei Sholem. Kis should be Kis, should be really Kisei. And Yudke should really be Vavke. So it says that the throne of Hashem, the chair of Hashem, and the name of Hashem cannot be complete until Amalek is destroyed. Love and that to understand all about this, he says in Eksiv, it says in the pasuk, Reish is Goyim Amalek. Goy Amalek is the beginning of all nations. V'achris and his end, Adei Ever will be destroyed. Sheyesh b'chinas Amalek, b'chinas Reish, and b'chinas Achris. So what does the pasuk say? Amalek is Reish is Goyim Amalek, the beginning of Amalek. V'achris in the end of Amalek. That means Amalek has a level of beginning and a level of end. Kinei zelo mezeh aselikim, that Hashem made one opposite the next, meaning k'mei sheyesh b'kedusha reishis v'achris, like it says ani rishin v'ani achrein, just like by Hashem it says I am first, I am last. To the same thing in evil, Amalek has a first, a reishis goyim, and an end. By the way, today's class is sponsored by Avram Aradian in honor of Moshe Rabbeinu. Wow. He says, Peter Shrishin Shu Seviv Umakeret Dekula. What does Reishis mean? The level of Seviv Kolalman, the level higher than world. Vani Achrim Mechinas Mamali Kolalman, the permeating level of Elokus, Bashamayim Mimal, Vars Mitachas Reiselim. So just like in Kedusha, there's a level higher than world. Seviv Kolalman, and a level of world called Mamala Kolalman. So he says, Kachesh B'Kliber Siter Achra, there's also a level of Amalek. Just like in Kedusha, there's a level higher than world and in world. So in evil, in Klipa, you also have an Amalek, higher than world and in world. B'chinas Reish is Goyim Hein Sheva Amamin. The beginning of all nation refers to the 7 nations, Knani, Kchiti, Vuchazayim, Vidasirois. V'reishi, Samo B'chinas Amalek. And the level on top of them is Amalek. We know the 7 nations correspond with the 7 Midas. But then you have, that's the emotional level of evil. The 7 nations the Jews conquered. But then you have the intellectual level of evil. Like Bereshis is translated B'chochmasa. What was unique about Amalek, and why Amalek is worse than all other nations? Amalek, the Medrash says, Yoideyas Ribaynei u'mechavin limribay. Amalek's unique was it understood Hashem's greatness and rebelled against it. That means Yoideyas Ribaynei represents the intellect. Amalek represents the intellect of Klippa. Obachin is Achris Amalek at Seif called Madregas Aklipas. V'tamsis, and then their point is, in Yiniskaber is Kayachara. The power of evil, Shebachol Mida Gluya V'Tokfa. In every Mida, in its power of the Mida. In other words, Amalek represents power. Reish is Goyim Amalek. It had an unbelievable level of chutzpah. Like even the Medrash, the famous Medrash, it gives the analogy of Amalek starting up with the Jews. It was like a boiling hot bath. Now, everybody was afraid to go in because it was boiling hot. Came one crazy guy, jumps into the boiling hot. He gets burnt, but he automatically cools it off for everybody else. So it says that's what Amalek. The Jews came out of Mitzrayim. They're boiling hot, miracles after miracles after miracles, and everybody was afraid to start up with the Jews. Comes this crazy Amalek, this chutzpah, illogical chutzpah. You know, something you have chutzpah, you gain by it. They got burnt by it. This is like stupid chutzpah. And yet they did it. And that's what it says, Rosh Veraloi, like the expression that the Gemara out there brings on the first page of Tanya. Rosh Veraloi, Pirish, Vera Meloshin, Ra'ala Shemayim, Vera'ala Brias. Bad for evil to Hashem and evil to people. Shunyan Areg is Vakas. That represents anger. V'lev Achzori. And a mean person, Shabamitek of Gagbeir Sarah. That comes from the power of evil, sheyesh le'aris kenachash, that has a venom like a snake, which is a hot venom. And that's the level of Amalek, which is also the level of Nachash HaKadmeni. This represents the original snake, meaning the old original source of evil, V'achrisa shel Amalek, and it's called the end of Amalek. Or Bechinis Reishi, say what is the Reish? It's the beginning of Amalek's klipa. Reish is going on now. Mokir is Savas Hamidas Rois, the source of the evil midas. Vesivuv Tuldaisim, in the way they're created. V'nikra Bechinis Amal, which is called Amal. Amal means simply Amelim means hard work. Amalek is Amal Kuf. Okay? But by Yeyid it says the Nemar Le'ra Amal B'Yisrael, which means, spiritually speaking, you didn't see a level of Amalek by the Jews. Sha'amal U'Bechinas Amalek. Ki Amalek is the levels of Amal Laka. U'Bechinas Amal, what does this level of Amalek do? Master Elukusei. It conceals the godliness of a Jew, or mafrid, and separates the Yid from Hashem, Shein Hashem Sholim, because the name of Hashem is not complete until Amalek is destroyed. Meaning, in simple English like this, every Jew has a level of Amalek within them. It's only the nation of Amalek. The uniqueness of Amalek was, it was total evil. Not only the midas of evil, that's the 7 nations. Amalek is the source. The Reish is going Amalek. It's the source of all evilness, which by the person represents the level of Amalek within the person, which is the level that conceals that lokus in the person and, makes him do all evil. It's the source of all evil. 1 second. Therefore, Chassidus explains 2 things. What is the uniqueness of Amalek internally by a Jew? So by Amalek, the Torah says 2 things. Number 1, Asher Karcha Baderech, simply mean they met you on the way when you're coming out of Egypt. But Karcha comes from the word Kar, which means coldness. That's number 1. Number 2, Amalek is the same numerical value of Safek. Okay? It's 60, 80 is 140, and Kuf is 240. Amalek equals 240, Safek equals 240. What does Amalek's function in evil, in a practical level? It casts doubts. Like a person could be all excited about Yiddishkeit and, really going, gung-ho about it. And Amalek comes and throws cold ice on it. How? By casting a doubt in it. Why are you so upset? Maybe. That's the concept of Amalek. And this coldness, says in Ayem also, the beginning of evil doesn't come from evil. The beginning of evil is coldness to Yiddishkeit. A person could be 100% frum. They could do every possible mitzvah, but it's done coldly. Habitual, it's a habit, it's done coldly, I don't want to do it, I'd rather not do it, I do it because I have to do it. That is the level of Amalek that cools down a person's Yiddishkeit, and eventually you come to the level of the real Amalek. Yes, sir?
What did I just say? Moshe Rabbeinu, when he was fighting against Amalek, he had an opportunity to wipe out Amalek then, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu in a certain sense stopped him. He had an opportunity to wipe out Amalek. I mean, it says that they held up their heads. Of Moshe Rabbeinu, they had an opportunity.
But it says, Vayachlish Yeshua, Amalek. Yeah, Vayachlish Yeshua literally means he weakened Amalek. The destroying of Amalek is in stages. Yeshua weakened Amalek. Then you have, remember, Amalek, you have to do Amalek. Then there was a mitzvah, one of the three mitzvahs when the Yidden came into Eretz Yisrael was to destroy Amalek. That was Shaul HaMelech was supposed to destroy Amalek, and he didn't. He left over Agag. And then you had the Purim. And then you have ultimately the destruction of Amalek is when Mashiach comes. So there's stages in the eradication of Amalek is really in stages. It began from Yeshua and ends when Mashiach comes.
It began from Moshe.
Moshe, but Yeshua fought the war.
Which one is stronger, Klipa of Israel or Klipa of
Amalek.
Amalek?
Are we able to destroy Amalek?
On a personal level, if you don't let any doubts, you don't let any coldness in, you destroy Amalek.
It's not destroyed, it's dead. It will come back 2 days later.
You mean it's sleeping, not dead. If it's dead, it's dead. Dead people usually don't come back. Now he's going to explain, in Avodah more. Rabbi Adavar, to explain this, he it says, Chedek Hashem Amay. A Yid is a part of Hashem, Shebachol Nefesh Mi Yisrael. In every single Yid, the Nefesh of every single Yid, Yesh Bechinas Havaya. That means every Jew, Chelek Havaya Amay, that means every Jew has a Yud Ke Vav Ke within them. Meaning, Ke'avav Shem B'Shem Hashem, Hu B'chinas Vav K'saves, the Vav of the name of Hashem represents the 6 directions. Right? Up, down, north. Like it says, L'cha Hashem Agdula. V'kach B'nefesh Ha'adam. G'deli B'chinas Chesed. Greatness, the Gedula, we say in Vayivarach David, L'cha Hashem Agdula, V'agvura, V'ateferes, V'anetzach, V'aharid, which is all the spheres. But Chesed over there is called Gedula. It's brought down in Chassidus that the earlier Mekubalim didn't call it Chesed, they called it Gedula. That's why the Pasuk says, L'cha Hashem Agdula, V'agvura, meaning L'cha Hashem, it's bottled to Hashem, all the Chesed, Gvur, Teferes, Netzach. So he says, L'cha Hashem Adam Gedul is a level of Chesed Reyamina, which is the level of Avram Oyavi, which is the level of Avam, Shavos Yerusha Lazari Achrav. His love is an inheritance for every Yid afterwards. Meaning, Kol Adam Yachol Eretz Ava Elov. What did Avram Avinu accomplish? He gave over this level of Ava to every single Jew. That means every single Jew has the ability to awaken a love of Hashem, because it's not something you have to create. It's something Avraham Avinu gave every single Jew in the neshama. It's inherent in the neshama, this level of Ava. So we have to just awaken it. That's the natural Ava that every Jew has. That's the level of Pachad Yitzchak. That's the level of Yira, fear, which is the level of Yitzchak. Meaning, when you want to cling to Hashem, and you put him his heart, his brain, and to meditate into the greatness of Hashem, people of a mos of a Fachad. It will come onto the person this awesomeness of godliness. Yavim will understand. That Hashem's name is exalted. The whole creation comes from the name of Hashem, and even the name of Hashem is exalted. Only the revelation of His name is on heaven and earth. That their fear is machmas hasagosim kedushas yizbarich. Why do the malachim scream ba'emo v'yira with awe and fear? Because malachim, like the Rambam says in Ochas Deis, the Rambam, that the malachim have this unbelievable perception of elokus. Not as great as neshamis l'mayla do, but malachim have a great understanding of elokus. So malachim have fear of Hashem, and malachim have love of Hashem. And this is revealed basically in the two major Malachim, Michal and Gabriel. Michal is Ava. Michal Yamin Malala, like we say by Ne'ilah. And Gvura is Gabriel. And then you have the fall, which is the level of Tiferes. And the same thing happened by Matan Torah v'chol Omrei Mesakeves Salapidim, and then it says Vayaram Vayonu Vayamdu Mirachik. They stood from the distance out of fear. That's the level of Smeldecha, pushing away evil. So in other words, I'll never saying like this: every Jew has a level of Yudke Vavke within them. Yeah, the Vav represents the 6 meters. So you have Ava, you have Yira, you have all the various different levels of Elukus. Avram gave over inheritance Ava, Yitzchak gave over the inheritance of Yira, and who is anybody that has the ability to become close? But the evil doesn't, the left doesn't put it away. Like it says, okay? In other words, evil makes the person, Yira makes the person feel like nothing. Bittul. But he says it doesn't mean can be bittul that you're nothing. El Yerid is Utzerech Aliyah to the level of Midas Sheyakov, which is Rachmanis Aricha V'Yerid Me'Yadul. You know, he says like this: the 3 Aves, Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, instill within every Yid the level of Avos Hashem, the bittul of Hashem, but not a bittul that doesn't exist, but then it has through the level of Yaakov Avinu, Midas Teferes, Midas Emes, Midas Rachmanis, that the person still functions. So that's what Yaakov Avinu does.
But then how can the Malachim have perception of Hashem if they don't have a moach?
They have a moach, not a physical moach.
They don't have a physical moach.
So what?
How do they have?
They have.
If they don't have the two.
The Alter Rebbe says in Tanya that Malachim also have a guf.
2 parts out of 3.
Not from 4 elements. The 4 elements. Fire, air, earth, and water. So we're primarily from all 4, primarily from water and earth, which are physical. But fire and air is more spiritual. So the Malachim's bodies, Malachim have bodies. They come from only Eish and Ruach. So they're spiritual. But those 2 have a body with a spiritual Me'ach.
But they don't have,
Malachim haven't,
but they don't have a choice, Rabbi.
they have no Bechira. That's a separate issue.
So where are they?
Where are they?
They're doing shlichut.
Understand.
They're shlichut. They're doing shlichut right now.
When you love somebody, where is the love?
Show me the love.
They understand what to do, so they must have something.
They have a seichel. Their seichel is greater than the neshama is in the body. Not greater than the neshama out of the body. Because the body just covers, it blocks the malachim don't have their physical body.
They're more like an animal where they just do what they're programmed to do.
They're instinctive, but instinctive, not animalistic, instinctive of kedusha.
But you can download them, right, Rabbi?
Huh?
You can call malachim to do a service. You see that malachim.
You can't call them. Hashem can send them down. It's not a taxi service. You call. I need a malach today. Hashem does.
Maybe you can access them when they're doing, let's say, refuah. Let's say they come down for a certain time to do a refuah, and that's when
all they're doing it is they're nothing. They're doing it as shlichus of Hashem.
So you can't call them. You can't call malachim.
Like a doctor is Kena Krenk. He's only God's scalpel. He's only God's tool. They're nothing.
You hear that, Dr. Gower?
So chen kam mit das Yaakov mavriach min hakotza lakotza. Pirish ma'ilo mekashi miksei atachno ksei elyon. It connects the highest levels and the lowest levels. And like it says, Yaakov asher podas Avram Yaakov redeemed Avram, meaning Shaydei midas Yaakov. Chayzer u'me'erer, so Ava reawakens the love of Hashem, because sometimes when you have complete bittul, then you don't have Ava. If you're completely bittul, then there's no Ava. Means, as Alter Rebbe says in Tanya, Yesh mishayev. Ava is a feeling that you have to feel. If you're bittul, you don't feel it. How do you have Ava? So that's where Yaakov comes in. Yaakov asher podas Avram. The Alter Rebbe says one of the meanings of it is Yaakov reveals the level of Ava after the bittul.
What about Ava to Hashem?
What's he talking about?
That's what we're talking about.
Who are we talking about? Ava to pizza? Ice cream?
You have that.
What?
You have your bottle and you have Ava to Hashem.
But if you bottle, Ava and Yira are opposites. If you bittul, you can't be a ben and an eved at the same time. A ben, a child, has love. Eved has bittul. If you're a ben, you're not an eved. If you're an eved, you're not a ben. Correct? The Chassidus explains, you have Avinu Malkeinu. Avinu Malkeinu, mamish opposites. Avinu is Ava, Malkeinu is bittul. So he says, sometimes the Pachad Yitzchok, the bittul that a Yid has, can sometimes make him so non-existent that he can't even have Ava. So that's where Yaakov comes in. Yaakov reveals the level of Ava in the bittul. That you can have both things together. That's what it means. Chelek Hashem Amai means in the Vav of Yud Kei Vav Kei. Because again, Yudis Chachma, Hey is being the Vav is the 6 meters, Hey is Malchus, right? So he's talking about Chelek Hashem Amai, that a person has the Yud of Yud Kei Vav Kei, Hey involved. So he's speaking about the Vav. The Vav is the level of the 6 meters that every Jew possesses. See, the Alter Rebbe is explaining. What is the meters? Ava, Yira, Teferes, right? Chesed Gevurah, Teferes. These are the 3 general ones. So he says Avram instills Ava, Yitzchak instills bittul. The problem, if you have total bittul, how do you have Ava? That's where Yaakov comes in and makes the Ava even in the bittul. That's what he says. Shahidei midas Yaakov chayzer miseira so Ava. It reawakens the love. Like it said, Merochek Hashem nira'aynu machnos rachmanos al richukei. Because when you feel pity and mercy on yourself, compassion on yourself, that you're so far away from Hashem, that creates a love of longing, that you're longing to Hashem because you want to be close to Hashem. Okay, so he says, so these 3 levels, again, the goal over here eventually is explaining Amalek in Klipa versus Kedusha. So he's explaining the way it is in Kedusha. You have the 6 feet. And now he says, Gimel Midas Elu. Involve Midas, these Gimel Midas, which are basically, like he says, Ava Vanfel, Yira Vanfel. The others are branches of Ava and Yira. Is Keneged Avav, Shebeshem Sheshtaushas Amidas Asef Maisa. Yesh Gam Kim begin the Gimel Pchinas Elu, which is Torah Aveda Gemilas Chosadim. These 3 levels of Ava, Yira, and Rachmanis, Chesed, Word, Teferes, Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, are the 3 pillars that the world stands on: Torah, Aveda, Gemilas Chosadim. Hainu, Hachon, Esalev, the preparation of the heart, Va'odes, Hamidus, and the revelation of the Milias Tachlis, Shleimus HaMaisa, that the ultimate action should be Besimcha V'tul Levav. Gemilas Chosadim is a level of tzedakah. Okay? Shinam V'leirei Levav. Aveda Ksiv Tachas Shalei Avadet Besimcha. Torah, like Chazal Chasei, came the Dvar Halacha. Okay? Meaning like this. V'hein Gimel Kavim. Torah, Aveda, Gemilas Chosadim are the 3 pillars. Yemin, small, Amsa. Like Mimin, Gemilas Chosadim. V'tzad Ketzev V'chesed Rei Yemina. Eish is the level of Gvura Drei smaller. That's Aveda, which is Aveda Satfila. And then you have the level of Torah. So you have Gemilas Chosadim, which is the level of Chesed. Then you have the level of Aveda, which is davening, which is Gvura. And then you have the level of Torah, which is Shlishi, right? Shlishi, B'yem HaShlishi, everything Shlishi, that's the level of Torah. Gemilas Sadim is Chesed.
No, I'm saying, but how is it translated to Aveda? You said that the second one is davening and the third one is...
Torah, Aveda, learning Torah,
Oh.
davening and Gemilas Sadim.
Torah is Tiferet, right?
Yeah.
Middle.
Sometimes it says Torah Chesed, Torah's Chesed al Shayna, sometimes Chesed is whatever, but here he's explaining that Torah is Tiferes and Gemilas Sadim is Chesed, Gemilas Chasadim, Chesed. And then you have Pachad, Gvura, and then you have Tiferes. Therefore, what was the level of Yaakov Avinu, by the way? Yaakov Ish Tom Yeshiv Oyalim. Yaakov's Aveda was learning. Avram Avinu was Gemel Chesed. Made the Eishel, right? He was giving a Chnosset Zorka. Yitzchak is the Aveda of digging wells, Mamata Lamaila, the level of Lasuach Basada. Then you have Yaakov Avinu, Yeshiv Oyalim, Yaakov Avinu, sat and learned Torah. Because Torah is Tiferes. So he said, Mimina, Savis Chassid, Dreyamina, which is the level of Eish, Gvor, Drey Smala, that's Avedis HaTfila. Sheikh, Kabbalah, Malchus, Shmaim, which is Yerim, name Malchus, he's Baruch, like a servant standing before the king. Ukamesha Kosa, same Tasim Malach Melech. You have to put the king on top of your meaning. You have to have the level of Yira, Hanashiyos and Beliebe. You put to your heart, Kilo'im, and Leneged Einov. As if the king is standing, like it says in Shchunach. What do you do when you daven? Beginning of Shchunach, it says when you daven, Shivisa Hashem Lenegdi Summit. A lot of people have it on where the Chazan davens. They have a big Shivisa. Yeah, we don't. But Dafka doesn't.
Oh, why not?
Because it's supposed to be in here, not on a sign.
It would help if you have focus.
Huh?
You don't have
The sign ain't gonna help them.
It wouldn't focus, it wouldn't help.
You don't got it, you don't got it. You either got it or you don't got it. If you don't got it, the sign ain't helping.
So maybe it would help us a little bit clearer.
No, it says. It says this in Chassidus Shusterman. By us, we don't do it. Because it's supposed to be engraved and ingrained in your head, not on a sign.
But when you see it, it reminds, it's a reminder.
Somebody asks your name. You're going to say, 1 minute, let me look it up.
Sometimes
God forbid if you're senile, yeah. But I'm saying, no, I'm dementia, right? Alzheimer's. But a normal person, you don't have to ask him his name. Hopefully not.
It's an arrow for direction now.
We said 1,000,000 times. Why do people get upset when you forget their birthdays?
Uh-oh. Moshe.
It's called spouses. You forget their birthday, you get angry. They don't forget anything. But something that's supposed to be important to you, you don't forget. Yes? Okay? So, that means if you forgot it, that means it's not important to you. V'amevin Yavin.
Moshe, happy birthday.
Thank you. I told my wife.